Vijana waine, kuna kiongozi wao ambao walikuwa wanakatakata watu, ile ambaye amewahi iba na bunduki, hako njiani anakuja. Hawezi apigi mtu bunduki ashaokoka.
Hello guys, welcome to Marian TV. This is Marian, and today guys we want to cover something that is unexpected that happened at Pastor Ezekiel's Newlife Church in Kilifi. And this is something that one would say is unusual, unexpected. Even with the physical eyes, one would say this is something that is uncalled for. Why is Pastor Ezekiel inviting a thug to preach for the people? This will be a question asked by most.
Crime for Jesus.
Kulilia Yesu.
Crime.
Ujambazi kwa ajili ya Yesu ama
uhalifu
kwa ajili ya Yesu.
Crime to Jesus.
Uhalifu kwa Kristo.
The cross.
Msalaba.
Kenya utaokoka kwa lazima, na ukikataa majambazi watakuhubiria.
Kenya utaokoka.
Wewe niweke hiyo kitu kwa niweke hiyo cross.
Put it for me that a cross.
Nchi yangu,
my country,
nitakuhubiria kwa njia zote.
Pastor will preach to you in many ways.
Hata nisipofanya crusade,
even if he don't do
nitatuma siafu kama hao.
He will send ants like this one.
Ukikataa hii injili yangu mimi kuwahubiria kwa crusade,
if you reject the gospel of pastor to preach to you in a crusade,
wakora na majambazi watampokea Yesu Kristo, mtawaona barabarani.
The robbers and criminals, they will receive Jesus Christ and you will see them in the roads.
Hebu fikiria.
Can you think?
Hakuna dhambi hajawahi fanya.
There is no any sin that he has never committed.
I mean, if you just go deep and dive into Pastor Ezekiel's life just briefly, Pastor Ezekiel has been through a lot that one would expect probably a spiritual leader to go through, or not, just depending with your stand in faith or in spiritual matters. Okay, he has gone through a lot, and if you'll think whatever he has gone through will even discourage him from holding people's hand or supporting people of various, whether you are a crime person, prostitute, like whichever profession you are doing, for lack of a better word that I can just say or describe to be something that the society will not appreciate. And we could also see this from Jesus. This is what Jesus did even when he was walking. He was here on earth, walking even with the people who were the greatest of sinners. So to cut story short, Pastor Ezekiel supported Steven Odhiambo. So this is where now Steve comes in the picture. He supported him. Steve Odhiambo was a person who was in real crime in Mombasa. Someone who had, been summoned by the police several times, like even his family being tortured because he was not caught, and even some of his friends being killed because he was a wanted criminal in Mombasa. And Pastor Ezekiel prayed for him. If I can just leave you to listen to this clip just briefly so that you can get to understand before we really dive into what happened today.
Risasi tukiwa na yeye akiwa Bamburi Dula. Nadhani iko kwa YouTube mpaka sasa hivi. Ambapo mimi ndo nilikuwa kiongozi wao. Karibia miaka miwili na mimi sijaishikwa. Hao ndo wanashinda kishikwa, wanashikwa, wanachomwa.
Lakini kazi mnafanya pamoja.
Mimi ndo nilikuwa nikiwatuma.
Wewe ndio unawatuma?
Sasa zingine tulikuwa tuenda nao.
Sasa wewe hujawahi patikana?
Yeah.
Lakini wao washauliwa.
3. Wengine waliamua kujiseparate. Mimi pia nikaamua.
Waliamua
kujiseparate na mimi.
Kujiondoa.
Wengine ndio wamezidi kabisa, wengine wako Nairobi wanaendeleza ule. Sasa hizo siku zote mama alikuwa hajui kama yeye alikuwa afanya kusikia tu, maana yake ameshinda kisumbuliwa, mandugu zangu wanashikwa, wanatiwa ndani, wanafuatwa
kwa sababu yako,
kwa sababu yangu.
Na mama hajui.
Mama alikuwa afanya kufuatwa na mapolisi, wengine hata alikuwa anapigwa na mapolisi. Karibia mara nyingi sana.
Mama ushaipigwa na mapolisi?
Washawahi nifuata
wanataka huyu,
anamtaka, lakini sisi hatuoni kitu chenye huwa anachukua.
Sasa ulikuwa unamjibu vipi polisi? Sababu haukuwa unaona kile anachukua.
Mimi nilikuwa nawajibu, mimi sijui huyu mtoto yuko wapi.
Na kweli ulikuwa hujui?
Nilikuwa sijui.
Sasa mama hakujua unafanya hiyo kazi?
Mama alikuwa yafanya kusikia tu, ya kuja yaambiwa kijana wako ameshikia watu bunduki, kijana wako amefanya hivi na hivi, mmoja ameshikwa amepiga risasi. Alikuwa yafanya kusikia tu. Lakini sasa nikaja nikamua, maanake nimezunguka pande nyingi nikitoroka wasinishike watu. Sasa juzi
So well, there you have it. Steve Odhiambo was through that, and you can even see Pastor Ezekiel trying to explain to people what happened, what his mother was trying to say, expecting, and what his family went through, his friends, the people revolving him, and just what his life was about, until Pastor Ezekiel took him in and he shaped him into a man that he is right now. So recently a lot has been going on. If you haven't been following, you can just check the stories that I've updated on my YouTube channel concerning Pastor Ezekiel, Steve Odhiambo, and the Newlife Church. I've done a lot of content there, even physically at Newlife Church. You can just go and check the updates. Recently, Steve Odhiambo, actually, with him reforming and even, you know, going out there from now, the parents' home would say his spiritual father, who is Pastor Ezekiel, and Mama Sarah, who nurtured him, and then he went out there. You know, one would even think with him going out there, he might just change to being whatever he was again, you know, considering he had changed from crime, now serving God. But guess what? 2 to 3 years down the line, Steve Odhiambo was still standing on his feet. And so today at Newlife Church, Pastor Ezekiel trying to explain, you know, of course, he's been seeing all these things happen in the media, in the era where media is everything. Anything that happens anywhere, you might even just be standing somewhere and the next minute, you know, you are trending on social media. So of course he sees these things. Even when he was arrested, we could see Steve Odhiambo came out and stood by him. Of course, many a times when people go through a lot of troubles, and you will find even close friends, family, even the people who know this person, they won't come out to stand with this person simply because they feel like this person is going through a hard time, a struggling moment, and they do not want to be associated, because most of the times nobody wants to be associated. But Steve Odhiambo was against all odds. He stood up with Pastor Ezekiel, defended him in the public, in the media, and even in the videos that went viral. And we could say this is a true son, okay? So he stood by him, and Pastor Ezekiel was just talking about, telling his congregation, you know,
vijana waine, kuna kiongozi wao ambao walikuwa wanakatakata watu, ile ambaye amewahi iba na bunduki, ako njiani anakuja. Hawezi apigi mtu bunduki, ashaokoka. Siku hizi yako huko kwa media, Citizen, Baraka FM, anatangaza habari njema, crime to Christ. Yeye ndiye alileta wale. Yeye alikuja wakati ambapo serikali imemwambia tukikupata hakuna kushikwa. Mamake akamwambia, mwanangu, naomba uende kwa Ezekiel, sitaki kukuzika. Hakuja siku hiyo, alikuja tu kivyake, then mamake akaketi hapo kando. So nilipompa microphone akaanza kusema vile ananiambia, pastor, saa hii ikiwa hii channel ya TV polisi wanaiona, pastor, polisi watajaa hapa. Saa hii mimi ni most wanted coast region. Kumbe mapolisi wana watch. Siniendelee na story hiyo. Ndio maana hata ukiona tuachana hiyo story nyingine. Ninamuoji mamake, anasema huyu alikuwa anaiba na anaacha, pastor, si mbaya vile. Na ananiambia, pastor, pana, mimi ni mbaya, naiba na bunduki. Mwambie mama aache kutengeneza hii kitu. I'm the most wanted in coast. Na naiba na bunduki na niko na group. Hii tattoo hapa ni ya group yangu. Wale ambao ninawaongoza wameuawa nikiona hivi wakipigwa risasi, mimi nakimbia.
Because Steve is no longer in Newlife, but he still acknowledges Pastor Ezekiel as his spiritual father, and the fact that he's not there does not mean he's not aligned in the spirit, just that physically somewhere else, you know, perhaps to do his work that God has intended for him to do apart from there, because he was nurtured and then he got. And right now, the interview that I did to him, just probably I'm playing the clip here, he even mentioned about him being a youth pastor, you know, trying even to nurture people or the youth who are in crime, saying that crime does not pay, trying to nurture them for them to come back, you know, to Christ, serve him. He was talking about that. And of course, Pastor Ezekiel, being a very, you know, proud dad, spoke about this in church. You know, he has a very large congregation. You know, just explaining how Steven Odhiambo turned from crime to Christ. And this is an initiative that Steve Odhiambo just launched.
Crime for Jesus.
Kulilia Yesu.
Crime.
Ujambazi kwa ajili ya Yesu ama
uhalifu
kwa ajili ya Yesu.
Crime to Jesus.
Uhalifu kwa Kristo.
The cross.
Msalaba.
Kenya utaokoka kwa lazima, na ukikataa majambazi watakuhubiria.
Kenya utaokoka.
Wewe niweke hiyo kitu kwa.
So Pastor Ezekiel, being so proud, he announced this in church, and you won't believe actually what Steve Odhiambo did. He went and talked and spoke to a lot of youth who are in crime, and he actually brought them to church, to Newlife Church in Mavueni. And of course, you can just see the tags on the t-shirt written "Crime to Christ." And these are the youth, and this is the initiative that he's created. The youth who are just changing and turning away from that, you know, bring them to church, which was a very proud moment for the people of Newlife. Because if you just watch the clip that I've just posted of how Steve was before, you will not imagine really this is the same Steve who has really changed his much. So I don't know what you think about the entire situation. Be sure to leave your comments down below. Tell me, do you think Steve has really and indeed done a great job, you know, from him being the real gangster, the leader, to him just turning a new leaf to where he is right now? I think Steven is doing great. What advice do you have for him? What do you think he should even do more, even as he initiated this? And of course, be sure to leave your comments down below. Be sure to advise him, a message to Pastor Ezekiel, to the people of Newlife, and to just Christians in general, and also to gangsters. Be sure to leave your comments down below in the comment section. Like this video. Stay tuned for the next video, because you want to see what really happened at Newlife. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on your notification bells so that you get notified every time I make a post. And let me see you all in the next one. Bye bye.